Hi, Neil here again, the online golf store. So I've had a couple of customers who have bought our tour fit shafts. So we sell this tour fit shaft on the website, which is just a generic black, plain black graphite shaft. It is about 95% carbon fibre, so it's a very good quality shaft. It's basically a one size fits all shaft in that we don't tip it. So if you want to use it as a senior or a ladies shaft, for example, you would typically just rough the tip up and glue that into your driver, and that gives you the full amount of flex. Because it's tapered, you would take 1 inch off that, obviously moving the taper further higher in the shaft and making the shaft stiffer. Therefore 2 inches off that would be stiff. It's not an exact science, it's just a rough rule of thumb that over the years I've experimented with this particular flex in this particular shaft, and it seems to work well. So we actually had a guy recently who ordered one, even though it has pictured with absolutely no end on it whatsoever and details of how to fit the shaft on the listing. He ordered one thinking that he could just screw it into his driver, and it came completed with a grip on the end and an adapter on the other end. So the idea of doing this movie is really just to put it out there on the internet about the shaft, how to fit it. I'm going to fit it. I have my own driver here, which is the Callaway Paragym driver. I'm actually going to fit this shaft up today for this. I've ordered this off eBay. It was like £10, I think, something like that. I'll put a link in the description of where to order this for the Callaway. I'm going to tip this. I'm going to do it 2 inches to make it stiff for myself. Glue this in, fit a grip to it. I play the VDCs, the all grey VDCs on all my clubs. So I'm going to fit this grip on. I'll maybe not necessarily show you that because we've done that in so many videos now in the past, but it's really just about the shaft. So let's get into the workshop, let's get this fitted up, show you how that's done, and then if you do buy one of these shafts yourself, you'll know the process of how to go about installing that in your particular club. There's different inserts. These are available for tailor-mades for all the different brands, pings. So you just need to go on to eBay or Amazon or wherever it is that you're buying it from. Make sure you get the right one for your club because they're all slightly different. So let's get at it and go from there. So everybody's a bit different in how they approach the gluing of the shaft in. Some people glue the shaft into the insert on the bench and do it that way. What I like to do is I've taken the old shaft insert out, and you do that by using the shaft removal tool. You unscrew this part at the back of the club. I have taken the new insert with the ferrule. The ferrule is separate, so the ferrule is this plastic part here. I leave that connected. I tighten that into the position that I want to play it in. So for me, I have this set up at -1 and neutral, and that's indicated by the 2 lines here at the back of the club. So -1 and neutral, so 8 degrees neutral. So what we'll do is we're going to cut this shaft and glue the shaft into here in the head. Now, to cut the shaft, I need to measure up 2 inches here, and I need to protect the shaft from getting splintered. So I typically like to use some sort of masking tape or blue painter's tape, something like that, and I'll put several layers of wrap around here to protect this before I cut it. And you're just cutting it with a hacksaw, just something, a fairly new blade that isn't going to catch. Nice and gently just run that through. So let's get this measured and we'll do this now. So just some paper tape. So here we go. This is several layers of masking tape we've put on here. I'm just going to use a measuring tape. We're going to come down 2 inches and just put a mark on the shaft there. Now we just get a hacksaw. So I'm just going to take a senior hacksaw I'm going to put this in the vise out the back. You don't have to use a vise, but if you have one, it's much easier. I'll not record this part, so we're just going to nice and slowly have this in the vise and just run it back and forward nice and gently through the shaft to cut all the way through. So get this done and we'll come back in a second. So there you are, just like magic, we have cut the end off that. Now if we peel this away here, you're going to notice that there's no fraying or anything on there. It's nice clean cut. So what we've got to do now is we've got to rough this, the tip of this up, so that the glue has something to adhere to. If you just glue that shaft in, you run the risk of the shaft the glue not being able to stick to the shaft. So I will typically insert this fully in, and that'll give us the depth of where that wants to go in. You'll see that goes all the way home into the bottom of the insert. So we can put a little ring of tape and just pull the ferrule down, put a little ring of tape here, and there you go. So we have a ring of tape on the shaft. That is the part that's going to glue in. So loads of ways to rough this up. We can use a bit of emery, we can use a Stanley blade, and just from the tape we can just rub it up in order to take the painted surface off the tip. You can use a bit of a file just very gently, and all we're looking to do is score the surface of this. So we'll get this bit done and then we'll come back. So there we go, just peel this off, and we now have one shaft. There we go, we've got one shaft tip which is all scored up, ready for the glue to adhere to. So we're going to mix up some glue and glue this in. Now we'll use shafting epoxy in the shop here. You can use Araldite, 2-part Araldite, or there's various different types of glues. Araldite works really well. It means if you need to take the shaft off, you can apply some heat with a heat gun to break the Araldite down and remove the shaft. If you're interested in seeing that, we can do that in a different video. Just leave us a comment below. But we'll get this, and we'll get a bit of Araldite mixed up, and we'll get this installed into the insert. Just use a playing card here from the shop. So 2-part epoxy, part A and part B. You put them together and you just give it a bit of a stir up. You'll want to follow the instructions on your Araldite packet or your epoxy packet, shafting packet, whatever it is that you've decided to use. We typically just then rub this down the area that you have taken the glue off. You don't need to smother it, just a reasonable amount, and then down the inside of the insert that you've bought on eBay. Just put the rest of the adhesive in there, pop the shaft in. You'll get a bit of glue will ooze up, which is grand. Use that to hold the, get a wee bit of glue has come out, so we just want to clean that off. Let me just grab a quick cloth. So I'm just going to use a little Huggies baby wipe here just to give that a bit of a clean up there. Get any of the residue away. Now I already have the club set. At my desired fitment. So what you'll want to do now is we'll turn this around so as the shaft is lined up in the orientation that you want your logo. So I like my logo down the back, TourFit logo, and it's going to go down the back of the shaft. So we'll just line that up like so, and we'll set that aside to harden. That's typically going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to set, but it'll take about 24 hours for that to fully cure, but we'll be able to work at it in about an hour. So once this is hardened off, we'll get you back, pop the grip on it, and then I'll show you how to trim the butt end of the club, and then pop the grip on, and then that'll be your shaft installed. Hi, so the video, the batteries died on my camera, so I'm trying to finish this off with my iPhone, so the sound quality might not just be the same. So we've glued in the tip end here. It's just a match of the original that we have. The butt end, we've done the same. We've put masking tape on the butt end. So it's the same process as with the tip. We're just going to mark here on the shaft, and we're only going to take a small amount, roughly 1/8 of an inch off the top end here before we re-grip it, and that's because we took such a huge amount. We took 2 inches off the bottom end. If we had taken 1 inch for regular, then we would be taking 1/8 inch, but you always measure the top end after you've fitted the shaft up. So again, hacksaw, we're going to cut this off and we'll re-grip this. Again, not show you the re-gripping because we've done that in so many other videos, and then we can screw this into the Paragym head, and it will give you a look then at what the full finished driver is like, and we can take that for a test. So here we are. This is the finished shaft. So we have the Turfit grip in the VDC and the all grey, which I quite like. I like to have my logos on the back side, so I've just got a plain black shaft to look at when I play. That is the completed repair into the adapter. So beautiful job, nicely finished. And if you turn the club over on the back side, we have the Turfit logo on the back. We have the Turfit logo on the back of the grip as well there. So that's it. Looking forward to having a few hits with this one. So that's it for this video for the reshafting of the Paragym. Any questions, as always, leave them in the comments, whether it's about this shaft, whether it's about reshafting any of the clubs. Like and subscribe for this videos so as you can see more, and we'll see you in the next one.